Now, for more on this topic, we're joined by Brian Wong, founder and CEO at Kiip. He's also the author of The Cheat Code. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Rachelle.
So just how large and how valuable is the mobile advertising market?
I mean, it's absolutely massive, and it's hard to keep track just on a daily basis. You think about the countries that have this leapfrog effect of smartphones and tablets being the first device that people are adopting versus a desktop computer or a laptop. That's what's really causing this massive growth and really creating a huge different perspective from the advertiser on everything from data to how they can reach consumers through modern advertising mechanisms.
So with this growing medium, what's your view on whether it's taking money away from other more traditional forms of advertising?
I think when you look at the way that people consume media, it's all based on the finite amount of time they have during the day. But what mobile has done is created this bridge time, this opportunity for consumers to do new things during moments they've historically not spent time interacting with digital media. And so I think it's just creating incremental spend in the industry. There's some shifting, especially when you have mobile players like Snapchat taking some market share from advertising from like a Facebook or an Instagram. But I think overall it's just expanding the pie.
So when these companies are putting all this out there, how do advertisers gauge their return on this smartphone advertising investment?
There's a lot of companies now that are focusing on attribution and tracking spend to purchase, so ROAS, or return on ad spend. So you may have heard of Oracle acquiring a company called Moat for about $800 million. It was a large acquisition for them because their business is finding the right data to target the right audiences, but then the next step they had was figuring out if that ad spend and the audience they tried to target actually led to the advertising leading to people buying things. So there's a lot of progress being made on making sure that people there's some ROI on the amount of money that's being spent on this channel.
Now, in terms of the heavyweights, who are the biggest advertisers out there?
I mean, the classic consumer packaged goods companies like the P&Gs, the Unilevers, the Coca-Colas, and the Pepsis. But I think what you're seeing is also telcos are expanding immensely in their penetration in the space, and then taking a different approach, like you see with Verizon actually creating their own media conglomerate to compete with the Googles and the Facebooks of the world with the announcement of Oath and sort of the bringing together of Yahoo and AOL and Millennial. So you're going to see a lot of interesting moves actually from the telcos of the world. I would keep an eye on AT&T as well with the Time Warner acquisition.
So if you're a smaller company, how do you get to break through this noise and get past some of these bigger advertisers to get your voice heard?
So the big players compete on scale. They say we have everyone and anyone, and you can reach them in a very efficient way with low cost. A smaller player like us has to play with differentiation. So with Kiip, our model is around, instead of just an ad appearing on your phone, sometimes is quite interruptive and annoying, we took the approach of what if we could actually add value? What if we could reward you? So that Mary Meeker report that was mentioned earlier, one of the top most well-received consumer forms of advertising is in-app rewards. And that's what we specialize in, is what if instead of getting an ad when you level up in a game, you actually got something for free? And I think that's a way that now advertisers are building rapport with the consumer so that they actually feel good about that moment, not actually feel like their attention was taken away from them or something was intrusive or interruptive.
And that's interesting. So what about this danger of bombarding users with too many ads, which could in turn just turn consumers off? How can they strike the right balance?
It's in many ways already happened, which is why there's been this big fear around ad blocking, and a big trend in the industry has been around viewability and fraud and actually making sure that the money you're spending on this channel is leading to the ads that are viewable, right? Because what's the value of a non-viewable ad? It's zero. It's hard to rationalize that spend at all. So what's happening is there's a lot of regulation, a lot of talk in the industry as well about what is the frequency capping mechanism? How do we make sure consumers aren't sort of being desensitized to these ads? And then even in new channels like the rise of like a WeChat or a WhatsApp or a chatting mechanism, what do ads look like in those channels? Is it an advertiser chatting with you? Does that seem intrusive? And so I think we're still at a very early stage, and that's what's making it so exciting to be in this space.
It certainly is. Thank you so much. Good to have you on. Brian Wong, founder and CEO at Kiip and author of The Cheat Code.